Content creators are leaving Runescape 3. Both big and small by Runescape 3 standards are migrating over to Oldschool. For some this isn't new, while for others it's a new adventure in the content creator career. I was invited to join a group of lovely creators on an Oldschool adventure, and in this video I'd like to share my thoughts as someone who's been part of the Runescape creator scene for quite some time. Whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax and enjoy. RuneScape is in a rough spot right now, as while Necromancy was an excellent addition to the game, or is, it isn't delivering enough new content for the above average player. It has lost its momentum for those already familiar with the game. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I know exactly why that is the case, but I do think the skill lacking progression beyond level 19, there not being a lot of follow-up updates so far, are at least part of the reason the current player count is dropping. Surely Jagex is going to release some really exciting content that year that we haven't heard of yet to keep those players hooked after they've come back or joined the game for the Necromancy skill. Jagex releasing one of the most controversial updates ever following such a game-changing update such as Necromancy likely didn't help either. I'd like to add that I don't think the game is dying, it's not some kind of doomsday event. What I'm trying to say is that the influx of players quickly reduced back to our normal average concurrent player numbers right after Necromancy. I personally expected Necromancy to be amazing from a content creator perspective, and it was both pre and post release, but the wave of excitement quickly faded and videos that I expected to perform above average performed below my expectations. I usually have a pretty good feel for how well a video will perform based on experience in the form of tacit knowledge. Now, there could be multiple reasons as to why this happened, and I'm just one of many creators, but over on Twitch you're able to see public statistics and see a decline to basically an all-time low average viewer count for the entire RuneScape category. Not exactly what you would expect after a game-changing combat update. Creating content and having a large amount of people watch your stream or videos is more fun than playing the game yourself, by yourself. Seeing those numbers go down is demotivating. Anyone that says numbers going down isn't demotivating is either lying or losing weight. It's much more enjoyable knowing your content is being watched and appreciated by more and more people. Growth can be both an extrinsic and intrinsic motivator. Numbers going down also means you're making less money, which is absolutely an important part of being a full-time content creator. I'm not afraid to be honest and say that money is one of the main reasons I dedicate as much time as I do to YouTube. And you wanting to make money is not something that should be seen as anything evil. You're exchanging energy for coin. You mustn't forget that I started doing this for free because I genuinely enjoy it. I would be making the same content, albeit less, if I wasn't getting paid. Earning money through content creation allows you to dedicate more of your time to content, and if content creation is your main source of income, any drop in that income means that you will need to make up for it elsewhere, which would take up a slice of your time you could be spending on creating content. The main difference earning money from YouTube has made on me is the order in which I prioritize YouTube compared to doing other activities instead. I would have rarely skipped dinner or stayed up late to finish a video if I wasn't getting paid for it. I would have just finished it the day after. It's the difference between it just being a hobby, or your hobby becoming your job and causing you to take it a little bit more seriously. I just want to quickly point out I'm still an engineering student on the side, so I'm technically not a full-time creator, just so you know. Some of the creators moving to Oldschool have been full-timing RuneScape content creation for years, and I think it's likely that income was at least one of the considerations in their minds. In addition to more engagement, a higher ceiling for viewers, and new content to try. That last part probably being the main reason for these creators to hop over. Players that are content creators in the RuneScape scene are usually familiar with the game and have played a significant portion of all the content the game has to offer. Chances are that all the new content released this year has not kept them busy for more than a week or two. Oldschool RuneScape is just sitting there with lots of new content to try. It's also the only game truly similar to modern RuneScape, and thus it can provide a similar playing experience while having completely different content. Content that is going to feel completely fresh and new to these RuneScape 3 content creators. I think it's illogical for a RuneScape 3 creator to at some point give Oldschool a shot, because from a creator's perspective, there's potential for more growth, and from a player's perspective, there's new experiences to be had. There are many success stories from people moving from RuneScape 3 to Oldschool, for example Nooblet and Allonescape, just to mention two. On the other hand, there's people who've had success from moving from Oldschool to RuneScape 3, like Dark World Order and Waydot. What about players that move back and forth, like Dovidas, also known as a friend, and Sick Nerd? Both games have streaming progression, quest guides, bossing tips, Iron Man content, news videos, restricted account content, and more. The main difference here is that the top viewed content for both games is different, but interests and viewers overlap. I firmly believe that most creators that have established themselves in RuneScape 3 on YouTube or Twitch will be able to find some level of success on Oldschool given that they show the same commitment. And that works both ways. You don't just become a content creator with 100 plus average concurrent viewers in a small niche such as RuneScape overnight. You will not suddenly gain 10,000 subscribers just by making a few RuneScape videos, at least on RuneScape 3. Now that takes a combination of skills, commitment, and luck. It's logical that these creators are looking to expand their audiences on a different game, and it's likely, not guaranteed, but likely that they will succeed in some capacity as well. This statement isn't limited to just RuneScape either. I've personally worked on non-RuneScape content and managed to grow in 2 different games and get monetized. Nuz, another large content creator, has been working on alternative channels, one of which is monetized. In it, yet another large RuneScape 3 content creator has side projects, one of which is also monetized. I think it's good to see creators exploring new opportunities as a creative outlet, as if they don't, they might at some point feel trapped in a niche. It's worth noting this isn't per se a new thing for some of these creators either, as I'm pretty sure my crew has done some variety streams and even has a Pokemon unboxing channel. Anyways, this brings me to the title of this video. Am I leaving RuneScape 3 for Oldschool? The short answer is no. I have no plans to leave RuneScape to play and create content on Oldschool, despite some people having mistaken my tweet for me having switched to Oldschool. I can't say the thought hasn't crossed my mind. In fact, I've tried Oldschool in the past and even very recently attempted to make a video trying out bossing during the Desert Treasure 2 combat beta. Unfortunately for me, and perhaps for you if you're interested in that video, I started playing on the last day it was active, so I never got to finish it, so that video went into the scrapper. Anyways, there's a couple of reasons why I'm determined to stick to RuneScape 3. I enjoy playing Oldschool, but I also don't enjoy playing Oldschool. What I mean by that is that I enjoy the content you get access to at the end of the grind, but I'm not fond of the time it takes to get there and the grind itself. For me personally, the journey is so long that the reward at the end isn't worth partaking in that journey. You could compare it to going on holiday. Let's assume destination A and B are just as amazing, but it takes you 4 hours of travel to get to destination A and 24 hours to get to destination B. Wouldn't you go to destination A every single time? I would, at least until Destination A has nothing new to offer, at which point you would start to consider Destination B. Kind of what's happening with RuneScape 3 creators right now. I've also kind of done everything in RuneScape, but I'm perfectly content with staying at Destination A and waiting for new things to do. Perhaps I'll go to Destination C, in this case playing other video games, and get more fun per hour out of my time, instead of spending all that time just to get to Destination B. You could argue that the journey to Destination B is more fun because of reasons X, Y, Z, and more power to you, that's completely okay, but for me, there isn't much fun to be had in that journey. Speaking of time, I really don't have the amount of time it takes to build a reasonable main account on Oldschool for all the fun stuff without sacrificing time from other areas of my life, like my studies. Currently, I'm in a position where I have an account that I can use for general play and content creation as I please, and there's very little need for me to do so much of that oh so boring grinding. This might be a hot take, and prepare yourself because it's going to be spicy, but it's also one of the main reasons I will likely never play Iron Man mode. The reward at the end of the journey, that high level gameplay, will feel exactly the same as my main currently plays. The only difference is that the journey takes longer, far longer. Sure, some big leaps and upgrades will feel more rewarding, but 90% of that journey is going to be the same account building grind that I can simply no longer endure. Now, I can understand the perspective of players who enjoy it, and it's also amazing for content creation, but I do not want to do everything again. Younger me might have gobbled up that grind, but that simply isn't who I am anymore. I said in the past, but I'm a seasonal RuneScape player. I don't mindlessly play RuneScape, despite earning money from playing the game. Honestly, if there's nothing new for me to do, I will play very little. The only 2 ways I play the game are if I set a goal for myself, which could be, let's say, 120 necromancy. Once that goal is completed, I log off, I do something else. Other forms of goals for me personally are to create videos on certain topics or methods, which is a fulfilling way of playing the game. The second reason is when there's new content to explore, small or large, it doesn't matter. It's one of the main reasons I create news and update videos. It keeps me updated, it keeps you updated, and I get to be onto the new stuff right when it releases. And very rarely I get early access to content by working with Jagex, like around Necromancy's release and the playtest, which just lights up the little kid in me. I create content for a sense of fulfillment and a creative outlet, and while I know there's a place for my style of content on Oldschool RuneScape, I don't think I'd get the same kind of fulfillment from playing the game to be able to create that kind of content personally. Could it benefit me financially? Probably, although I'd rather not force myself to go through things I don't feel like doing and ruining my mental health. I'm content with how I create RuneScape content right now, and I'm going to continue to create content and be part of the RuneScape 3 community for the foreseeable future. A future I do hope is going to be more attractive from both a player and creator point of view, meaning more exciting updates. If you made it to the end of the video, you're an absolute legend, and as a thank you, I want to share this